welcome back. Today we are doing a build challenge involving only specific packs. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to go over to the James Turner website and we have to go figure out what packs we're going to be using. So for example, this is his website. It is just jamesturner.yt. So that is his website, and we are going to go up here and use the tools, which I don't think you can see my mouse, but you should be able to see where I'm going. And we're going to do the random pack generator. And because we are doing a build, I'm going to get rid of all of the Create-A-Sim kits down here. We are going to generate, and that will give us 5 packs. All right, so we are going to be using Realm of Magic, Storybook Nursery Kit, Toddler Stuff, Get Together, and Snowy Escape, which I guess sort of seems like a very family-friendly place to me. So I'm going to save that little thing on the side so I know what we're using. And we are going to build here in Nordhaven, which is why we're starting here. We're going to build on this teeny tiny little lot. And I believe it's like a 15 by 20 lot. So we're gonna start here, and I would like to redo the whole thing in sort of the style that we're looking at. So mainly Snowy Escape and Realm of Magic. Well, there's also Get Together, I suppose. So we can do that. We've got kits. We've got 2 kits. Let's go through here. So here are our packs. We are going to be doing a Get Together and Snowy Escape. And then we're also going to go down to Realm of Magic. So technically Realm of Magic is a game pack instead of a full expansion pack. But it does have a lot of its own stuff. But thankfully we'll be able to have like full kitchen sets with this and bathroom sets, because sometimes what you'll run into with only picking certain packs is not being able to have all of these items available to us. Like if we were to just do like Realm of Magic, we wouldn't have like a shower. So we've got quite a few things that we can start looking at, but what we have to start with is the building itself. I'm going to get rid of everything that we have. We're going to bulldoze the lot and also bulldoze the terrain. So we're down here at the base. And what I would like to do is sort of stick with the shape of the houses around here and then just sort of customize them with the packs that we're allowed to use. So we're going to be using probably concrete down on the bottom, but I'm going to be using very blocky houses and then a couple in a row. Like I think I'm going to do something like this orange and red house here. I would like to use a little bit larger. We could do some of the narrower houses, but even the house that was on here before wasn't exactly like this narrow of houses. It's a little difficult to build inside houses like that. So I just want to do a large house on part of it, kind of something like this. And then we'll do like a smaller one on the side. So we're looking at this sort of idea. I don't think we need to be super tall, although that is interesting that they had everything built on the super tall levels. I'll give us a little bit more space on the outside. We'll give ourselves 2 blocks from the outside. I'm gonna copy it up at least 2 levels. We'll do that one there, and then we'll do a 3rd level for this one. And I think we'll just do a roof. This is gonna be a taller height because we're gonna need it to do some of the decorations there. And there's no roofs or anything available. So this is the kind of stuff we're looking at for the exterior. Brick may be the only thing that sort of fits in with this at all. It does have a little bit of that decoration, but there is some brick around. So for the side, for the roofs, We're gonna have this one that comes back to meet this, and we're gonna pull it down, and then we're gonna give it a little bit of a curve, just like this one over here. It looks like they probably have some there. And then, oof. Well, we've got a snowy escape roof. So it's not exactly this sort of steel appeal roof, but I think that'll be okay. I suppose we could also use base game if we have to, but if we don't, I think I'd rather not. It looks like we're gonna need something dark there. I do not like this brick and this roof together, but we're gonna make it work. I guess maybe we could go green. There are some, the brick has the green, the colored has the dark. So we may end up having to look at that to figure out what we're doing. And I'm not gonna try to match the shed look perfectly. I'm just gonna have a little curve here to sort of mimic what they're doing on the other buildings. And I'll pull this in, maybe? Nah, maybe what we'll do is we'll just have a trim on it to kind of make it look like it's fitting a little better. Something like that. So that's gonna be the basic shape of the build. Realm of Magic does give us some better bricks. We could still do like a red brick with the green roof. Now the one that's a little bit more red feels like it's brown, and I don't think that's gonna work for us. I do sort of want it to kind of fit in a little bit. So even though it's like a little different for the green and the brick, like we have a couple green brick things, and that's something that I built back there. So just ignore that. It does look rather drab though in here, doesn't it? So let's see what kind of options we have to maybe brighten it up. So we've got this brick wall, which looks a lot better. I don't love that bottom portion there, like the trim on the upper levels, but we can at least get some brick, or we could do something with block. I really wish that there wasn't that line there, but we might have to just deal with it. We do have some regular paneling that we could use. It is still a little bit on the plainer side. Ooh, I don't know if I like that all over a house. I think I'm spinning my wheels here. We have no exterior trim or freeze pieces that come with this, which is a little sad. We do, however, have a lot of windows and doors. So we want at least one slightly centralized door. This looks like way too tall. Like I'm thinking everything is probably gonna have to be all single shorter walls. Yeah, that's a little bit better, especially since we're not following the exact same style as the houses around us. So we've got medieval entry. I'd like us to, I don't know, try to follow at least a little bit with the town around us, at least for the exterior. So something like this kind of door. It's a little bit fancy, but it might work for us. We don't have like medium-sized doors. Well, we could. Maybe the lowest level is a medium height, because I feel like something like this door fits way more into the surrounding area than some of the shorter doors. Like if we did something like this. Well, you know what? I guess the little building on the side should maybe be a little different. So do we want like a different pattern? That really just stands out totally differently. We don't even have colored. This coloring within the lines, there's only like white and creams. There's no like actual colors. I'm actually really, really, really hating this exterior. Maybe a different roofing would be better. That's a little better, just having like the plain black roof. These blue bricks, I was trying to get something a little bit more colorful. That looks a little better. Maybe the red brick is not what we're supposed to be going for. Maybe we're supposed to be going for some of these other colors. All right, so I think one of the things that we are gonna have to do to sort of cover some of this is maybe add a frieze or the exterior trim. Now, some of the buildings around have them only at the top, and then this one has it around here. The brick building has some like decorative pieces along the top. That one sort of has decorative pieces, so we might be able to get away with adding some, although it looks like it sits below where that line would be, so it may not even work the way that I was hoping it would work. And the only thing we have in our other things is this Pleasant View storybook nursery wallpaper. So I don't really think that's gonna happen. We are very limited on the outside. All right, I think I'm thinking about this way too much. All right, let's move on. We have a curved door here on the front. Let's see if we can find some windows that's gonna work for this. I think what we're using is just the base one. So for these other builds, they have the smaller windows up towards the top and larger ones. So our medium height looks something like this, which is gonna be way out of whack for what we're looking for. So we're gonna go back to the short windows, but we'll see if we can get some of the larger pieces. Even with the curved front door, a lot of the other pieces are in fact just square. This doesn't stand out quite as much as some of the other pieces, so they have like black against a color. Okay, so the outside is about done here. Unfortunately, we don't have much from this pack as far as like outdoor things. There are a couple of things that are base game that we could in fact use, such as these plants here. So we may end up doing that just to get like a little bit of some coloring up front. This piece was from, I think, the Magic pack. So we have only a couple of items that we can use from those specific packs, but we can, I think, pull out some greener from some other stuff. But this is essentially what the exterior of our house is going to look like. It does kind of match in a little bit better now that all the windows are sort of in. Thankfully, we have a drain pipe from Get Together that allows us to sort of mimic that look. And there's also these guys here that are able to sort of give us these looks. I did this curve on the side, but now I'm kind of wondering if it just needs to be like that. Now on these buildings, they have 2 circles. So that is what it is. We can't necessarily do that, but we can at least get some of this in. And I think that's where we're gonna start at. We could potentially put another floor up here. Like we could probably do something like this. Yeah, and then we have like a whole other floor, but it still looks the same. You just can't see it unless you put the walls down all the way, but it can be a room. All right, so now that fun is over, we have this for our house now. We've got a separate section over here. But I guess this is where we sort of have to lay out what we think we want to do for a layout. We absolutely need some stairs, and I think we do have a couple that we can use. Snowy Escape has some good wood ones. And all right, so we've got some Tudali stairs, which are also kind of nice. Like we could just use, white for now and get rid of that. Oh, what kind of lighting do we have? I didn't even think about that. Usually we just use the base ceiling lights. So now we have this style light that we're gonna have to contend with. That should be very interesting. We've got some wall lighting. So this is our entryway here, and maybe we just capitalize on that. We could make ourselves like an actual entryway if we wanted to. Maybe put a bathroom here on the side, and then have a stair come up a little bit back from that, and that would give us some space here. We can have a living area, a kitchen, and a dining. Okay. All right, so let's see what we can do. I'm gonna get all of the packs out. I don't think there's anything in the toddler kit or storybook for doors, but we'll just have it available. And I guess when you come in, we should sort of stick to maybe the same kind of color trend. I don't know. I feel like it almost needs to be something like this. I know it's like inside the house though. We have no archways other than this one. We do have a spandrel, and we could make it into an archway. Like if we put a spandrel in, we could do something like that. No, I hate that. It is possible, but I hate it. We could just do a dark door like that, but no, I don't like that. That can be our door for our like interior door for the bathroom, perhaps. I'm okay with that. But this door here, maybe it's like a sliding door. This is gonna be so much fun. Okay, we're going very Snowy Escape, I suppose, on the inside. So what kind of lighting do we want in here? Ooh, we do have a chandelier. We could put in the bathroom. Okay, so this is our very small entryway. Do we want to sort of put in a nice flooring? You know, we're working on it. We're gonna get through this. That's a tile. Yeah, okay, we could do something like this. Wow, that's very, very bold. This is gonna go against a lot of what I would do, so full disclosure, it may not actually look really good once it's done, but we're gonna figure it out. You know what, that looks okay. You know what, I'm gonna stick by that choice. Pull this out of the wall. It was kind of cutting into the wall there. But that looks kind of nice. You know, this is like, we've got all similar color schemes with the warm browns. So you know what? We're there for it. As far as lighting goes, I don't know. You know what? Little tiny chandelier in the bathroom, not so bad. We will definitely do a tile. We can do a warm tile. All right, I have to remind myself that we're just doing a little bit of a layout to try to figure out like our color scheme and the sort of stuff we want in the space, but we're not exactly filling the space right now, but I'm trying to see if any of this even works. The small tile feels more like bathroom, but I don't love it, so I think we're gonna be doing larger tile for that. All right, so we do at least have an entryway, sliding doors. So now when we come in, I was hoping to do like an open area here to this side. So that way we have like full use of this room for whatever it ends up being. And it looks like we're gonna have to do maybe 2 sets of these. So it could end up being a library or something like that. We just need to make sure that we have our other spaces in here that we need. So kitchen, dining, and living. Do we try to wrap the stairs at all? I guess that also depends on upstairs. Up here, we do have quite a bit of space. We also have a whole extra level. But yeah. Somehow we need to work this space into being pretty well open. All right, I'm thinking something kind of like that, where we have some space around it, and I'm gonna add a couple of lights in. We'll definitely do maybe something in the middle there, like a chandelier or something. But it is a wraparound stair, so it's sort of like a whole entryway like that. And then we've got upstairs. And so we have enough space. We have like 3 tiles where we can start to like create bedrooms and hallways. Like maybe that's a railing. But we have like full availability for rooms. Like we could do something like this. All right, so we'll work on maybe kitchen first, or should we throw in some flooring? It looks like we're not gonna get much for flooring other than maybe the wood floor, and that's kind of a lot to have all over. And I feel like the tatami mats need to be placed around in the way that they would be for like rooms and stuff in the pattern. So we might end up with just this kind of flooring. And we can do plain walls for now to kind of get the white sort of clean feel in. Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's definitely gonna be, maybe we'll try for like plainer objects because our flooring is kind of a lot. So we'll see how it goes. I would like to do a dining area here. And then the kitchen will sort of stretch back all into this area. So I want to find a nice like neutral, yeah, we'll turn on auto counters for now because as we stretch them back and around, we can sort of see what it's going to look like. And then we can maybe have a kitchen island area here. We can block off that. Not sure what we'll put back in that other space. But for now, we have quite a large amount of space that we can do a lot of stuff in. So for example, we've got, well, a ton of stuff available to us as far as like kitchen items, which is nice. We've got this one here, which is a nice deep color, which goes with the counters. We can alternatively do lighter colors. However, I don't feel like the white sort of fits with our vibe. It's almost too bright. So we might just end up sticking with the darker colors. We have quite a few different stools that we can use. We could use this plain one. We're just kind of looking for sort of nice colors right now. I don't think grays, like if this is a brown base with a yellow, we could potentially use that. This is the color scheme that we're sort of working with. Ooh, that's nice. That's like a nice deep red option. And then we've got this kind of stool, which is like a bar stool, like literally in a bar. It does have a nice red though. I kind of like that yellow. All right, that looks pretty good. Now for the dining table, I don't know, that Katatsu table, which seats 6, may do it for us. We have this table. I was hoping for like a long one. I guess it is only 1 by 2 technically. I was hoping for one of these, but I don't like how worn this table is. They don't really feel like, this house feels very clean. It doesn't feel like it has a lot of like worn stuff to it. So all the stuff that came with the get together is like really worn because it's supposed to be like pubs and, you know, people there. So we might end up just keeping that Katatsu table. So far this is feeling pretty nice, this area. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to be kind of picky about this. But I don't think we have any dishwashers. We don't have a smoke alarm. We don't have a thermostat. So those might be a little interesting. Oh, apparently we have no upper cabinets either. And for stoves, we only have these 2 options. So we could do this very colorful option. But I kind of feel like that plain one was a little bit better. Maybe we add in a plant. Those are kind of all pretty large plants. We'll put maybe that one over there. Is there a yellow version of this? There's a little bit lighter of a version. We could add some wall lights. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with just the ceiling lights for now. We could do some window coverings, but I don't feel like these windows really scream window coverings, you know? Ooh, we should definitely get out some tea and maybe a little pastry thing. All right, well, the kitchen is kind of done. The dining area definitely needs some decoration. We could also include this sign for no shoes, maybe out here in the entryway. And hopefully I'll remember to put those little shoe rack things in. So we got a couple pieces of art. I do sort of feel like a lot of this stuff from Snowy Day is actually kind of fun to put in here. And I'll put our little like soap dispenser up in here. Ooh, this could be fun. This special chalkboard in the kitchen area. Like right in here. Oof, I'm not sure what's happening there. There we go. Maybe sort of line it up like that. Yeah, those are kind of fun items. We don't have like upper cabinets, but we could use stuff like this. We've got a whole tea cabinet thing we can use. Maybe we swap and put this here and then put this here. So we've got quite a few items going around for tea and coffee, which is amazing. I'm gonna swap out these signs. I'm gonna get the one that's like a coffee shop. Yeah. We're very coffee and tea in here. We're just gonna have up a couple of items around this dining area. They're fine. It's fine. Just don't look at it too much, you know? Oh, we could put a huge painting up on that wall. I kind of like that thing there. We do have a couple of these, which are nice. It's a house that uses a lot of different types of items. They've collected things over the years and they want to show stuff off. Maybe they're big skiers and those are the kind of items that can go into this kind of entry area here. We can even put up a shoji screen. Ooh, I was hoping they were a bit bigger. As a sort of distraction, like don't look back there, you know, when you walk in. Yeah, we'll say they're a big like skiing family, but also like tea and stuff. So we've got all their gear in this sort of entry area and they'll grab things as they need to. And then we've got some other miscellaneous stuff and I'm kind of wondering if we need to use a spirits bar. It doesn't really fit into this space, but it would kind of have been fun to do that. We can use some amount of clutter as well. I feel like it will look a little bit more lived in if we do at least have some sort of stuff, like maybe they're also like wizards, you know, we don't know. Got some options here. All right, so we got a couple pieces of furniture around. We're starting to get, at this point, a little bit of a personality for who's living here. And it's not me, but you know, we're going with it. Toilet and a sink in the bathroom. It's kind of high. I really like this mirror. We've got a whole bunch of curves and stuff happening. I feel like that's okay. We can add another soap thing in here. Maybe we'll do just like a lighter color one. Now, one thing I am noticing with this category is that we don't have any of the like miscellaneous objects. Oh, maybe they're not in any of these packs. That could totally do. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like we definitely need something like this in here. Oh, that's cute. I'm thinking just the plain one. But do you know what I'm talking about? We've got like storage items. I guess now, since I'm thinking about it, I should probably pull a couple of these items out. I think it would be nice to have bookcases. Is there a better color? No, it might have to just be the darker one. We do have an onsen locker we could put in here, but that's not what I was thinking of. These are all of our surfaces. These are all of our storage items. So I'm guessing the sort of stuff that you would typically put in the bathroom doesn't actually exist in these packs. Really, I was just hoping for something like a storage closet in there, but that's kind of too big. Oh, and we do have fireplaces and stuff as well. That could be kind of challenging to fit in with also bookcases. Maybe the bookcases have to end up going upstairs. Because I want this to be like our full kind of living room area. And maybe the larger bookcases can go upstairs. I'll throw it in here for now. We'll say maybe, I don't know, some sort of office up there. So if we have one of these, we could potentially put it flat against a wall, but we have windows there. Or we could do this one, which is more of a sit in front of it and you are supposed to have a little bit of space. I kind of like it being here, like right in front of everything. So when you walk in the room, like this is the thing that you see. Now, ideally it would go, you know, up and out of the house, but it is what it is. Oh, we do have this nice fountain type thing that would be cool to put at the front door. Something like that. Yeah, that's cool. We could also do a little detail, something like this, and maybe we end up putting a back door onto the place, which could totally work. Like if we just take out this window, we can put in this door here. Oof, actually, on the outside, I don't love that. We'll do this front door looking door. It's just a little bit smaller than like our actual front door, but it fits kind of with the theme of what we're doing. And now we've got a little space to put like our wood outside, which we're gonna need because we now have a wood burning fireplace. And I guess the next question is, do we have a sort of area here? I mean, we don't have a lot of space. We could sort of cover it like that, but we can't really come out anymore towards the edge of the property. And I don't want to cover up too much. Oh, I wish we had red brick, but it looks like we're gonna have to deal without it. We could do more natural look. No, we do have kind of this wood look over here, but I want something that covers more. I think we're gonna go back to the first choice like that. I know we've got some like red around there. Okay, back to what we were doing. We could play with some wall coverings in this room here and just do these ones that match the windows. I think maybe adding a little bit of blue might be good for this room. Like we have a sort of yellow vibe going on in the kitchen here. So maybe having a little bit of blue in this room. I feel like it really doesn't go with that fireplace, but I love that fireplace. We'll add some more things and see if we can get it to work. How about that? All right, we've got some love seats and some sofas, so we should probably try to get at least something a little longer, maybe on one side, like this. And we could either try to have like a smaller one on this side. I mean, we have a couple living chairs as well, and we can contribute to the decor using something like this. We also have, you know, the bookshelf, the bookcase over there. And we can't have anything close enough to light on fire, which is like the biggest hazard that we have. Now with this layout, having like a central table area is not going to be something we're going to figure out very easily. So we could potentially break the space into two then. We could do a seating area on one side where we have a couple of chairs sort of facing the heater area. Although you're coming in right at that door, right into a couch. I do still sort of like being able to come in and seeing the fireplace right away. And we do have a couch over there, but we've got some smaller items here. This may take some work. All right, I've decided to like really divide this space. So one half has this carpet that I actually oversized. So when you have the carpet here, it's only like a 1x1, and I just used the brackets to upsize it by 1 to get this full rug look. And then this side is just going to be like a couple of couches, some social, this is where you go to like talk to family. And we've got a nice side table here, if I can sort of get it where I want it. Just a light. We've got this upper light, which should be centered there. And then when you're looking this way, you still see the fireplace. You just see the side, which I don't have any issues with. Oh, but we are gonna need another light fixture. All right, we've got one centrally located when you come in now. So we do have a little bit of light there. We've got light up here. All right, and then on the other side here, I think I'm just gonna keep it with the sort of idea where you're just coming in to read in this area. So I'll add, do we have any rocking chair that would work? These are all very sort of different style from what we have. They also don't look extremely comfortable. I mean, maybe we do that one because it's got the blue that we were sort of looking at. No, I don't like that. All right, so over on this side, we have a bookcase and just a little bit of a seating area. And I'm using a side table as like a coffee table because it's nice and small. So we've got those two sort of living areas depending on what you want to do. So I think the next thing that we're gonna have to do is go upstairs. And we'll start with the same flooring. I mean, we're just gonna have to do it. It's not the best flooring, but it is what it is. So right now I have a layout of a couple of rooms here. We'll pull out our handy dandy light sources. We're definitely gonna need 2 there. For the doors, we'll just use plain doors, I think, in a color scheme maybe that I like. Yeah, we'll do the more solid door color. So that's gonna be a door to one room. This can be to another room here. And then I'm wondering if this door should be here and then we have an ensuite bathroom. Unless maybe this is the largest bedroom that we have. This middle section is gonna be just like an office or something, is what I was going to say, but now I'm wondering if it should also be a bathroom at all, because if we have 2 bedrooms here, we're gonna need a bathroom. And it could be this room here. This could be the full bath for like the kids' rooms, because we definitely need a nursery. All right, I think I've laid it out the way that I want. We have 2 bedrooms with their own closets, and this one will be a nursery. And maybe we put a little decoration in there just to make it a difference. We have a bathroom for the kids, which unfortunately is right next to the parents' bedroom, or maybe it's a single parent, we don't know. So that's a little inconvenient, but I mean, it is kind of what it is. I suppose I could swap this. So I have for the large bedroom, I've got it here, and then this in the front, but we could always swap it. So let me just do that real quick. All right, I've swapped it. So we've got the large bedroom's closet in the back, and the bathroom. These doors are right next to each other, just so we have a little bit of space in here. And then we can drop in maybe this here. All right, so we have a general layout for the second floor, which is excellent. Now it's just about getting some of the things in. So we'll go right into the bathroom. So for the kids, we definitely need some sort of tub. And then if we can, maybe get a shower as well. Maybe we'll just do a bathtub for now. And we can come back to that if we want to add some other things to it. I'm going to have similar items to downstairs in the bathroom up here. I don't feel like we're going to have to get crazy, although apparently we're not going to be able to have a toilet paper roll. So there is that. It's a little inconvenient. All right, it's kind of plain, but it can be used. We've got 2 sinks and a toilet. We've got the bathtub, and we do have a plant in for a little bit of extra color, and house on both sides. We've got a portrait on the wall here. Nothing on this wall because I feel like it's a bathtub, so you probably wouldn't want anything. All right. We're gonna do a shower in the large bedroom's bathroom. But as far as the other items, I think we'll pretty much just do the same. Kind of liked the way that those things were laying out. We are going to be right in front of a window, but that's all right. All right, I swapped it around just a little bit so that way we could put in a mirror, at least one mirror at a sink, and the other mirror doesn't need a sink, or the other sink doesn't need a mirror. And then we do have the toilet over on the side. I was thinking I was gonna like a brown color, but I think we're just gonna go back to white for that. We have a limited selection of items to put into the closet area, so I'm just gonna get some of the basic items from the Realm of Magic. We'll just sit it in there. I don't want to use these perfect closet sizes. They are very useful. I just didn't want to have them for this one. Next is going to be the large bedroom. I think we'll just kind of work our way around. We only have one double bed, so I'm going to have to move the lighting. Maybe we'll just do different lighting. In this area, we'll do one big light there. And then we'll do some end tables on both sides. We're going very Realm of Magic with this one. Obviously, we have to, clocks, okay. But we'll put in some of the more standard light fixtures maybe for that pack. We could do like these. These are okay. Do one on each side. That gives us a little bit of some extra lighting. I don't think we'll need any dressers outside of that, but having a mirror is probably good. We'll have a nice big off-center rug. And do we want to have a different color for the walls? It's all very plain. Really, the only things that we have are like this daisy wallpaper, which I suppose we could use. I think the default is okay. You really see it a little bit. It's kind of a plain room, but I'm also okay with that. I don't think we need too many things. Maybe we add a little bit of some green stuff. I mean, it's kind of a lot of green stuff, but we don't have much else in this space as of right now. It does look very much like an outdoor type of thing though. Maybe we'll put it outside. All right, I've added wall coverings, this little panda sculpture, and a couple of images. It's getting really crowded in here as far as like colors and where you're looking at and where you're going. I am kind of liking it, but at the same time, it is starting to become a little bit much. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna start with the nursery. That'll be, I think, the easier one to finish up right now. Can't cover that window, which is a little sad. Maybe try a dark one just to block the windows a little. So we've got this thing here. Let's see, what do we got in the kids area for the bed? We'll do an heirloom crib. We'll go right into this piece of decoration here. I forget what it's called. But we do also have this mobile to put above it and a light a little bit separately. Yeah, I think that's the best place for the bed. We could add a bassinet maybe to the parents' room. Just in the corner here. It may not be used right now, but you know, we can still have it. We've got a changing table, which we can put in near the window. That's pretty good. So if you're gonna actually use this, you do need to make sure to have like a trash can for the diapers. But other than that, it should be okay. Do we have space down here? We really don't have space for this play mat at all downstairs. So it may end up just being an upstairs thing. Like we'll put one maybe here in the middle. We do have a good amount of things that we can use for like toy boxes. Ooh, we have a dollhouse, which might be kind of fun. I was gonna use this area as a study, but I'm wondering if we should also have it as a sort of kids play area. Because we have like no space for the kids downstairs at all. I didn't plan that very well. So like we'll at least have some stuff up here. Maybe we'll do beakers and baubles in this bedroom. Maybe on that wall. The activity table we could pop out into this other room. Because if we're gonna do, I think we'll put a desk in there. And then the parents and the kids can be in here. Maybe there's a baby and a toddler. I feel like I want a kid. Although I guess it depends on what we have for beds. Okay, yes, we do have something that we can use here. So we'll put in one of these beds and a side table. All right, so we've got a kid's room and a small child's room. We'll do the teal curtains in here. I know that this set can catch on fire. There's just nothing I can do about it because we actually don't even have the smoke detectors in this unless we do just the base items, which I'll probably will get around to adding in. I just feel like it would be irresponsible otherwise to not. All right, desk for this area. I feel like having one that's a little bit closed off might be better, especially if there's little kiddos around. We'll do a plain chair. We have no desk, no computers at all. We'll come back to that. But I feel like that's kind of where we're at. There can definitely be some more detail that's added to the kids' rooms depending on the things that you need. We would probably need a potty. All right, let's go to base game only items because we're gonna just need to get a couple of things in here. We're gonna need to get a potty for the small kiddos. We're gonna need this, oops, not that. We're gonna need a smoke alarm on 2 levels here. And I'm not even worried about having us go up to the 3rd floor. We could have another staircase in, but this is okay. We just wanted the look from the outside. But it's a fully working home with 2 bedrooms at this point. We'll put in a fire prevention. Can we stick it out here somewhere? Yeah, there we go. We got this sort of back patio. I'm kind of wondering if I need to transition things this way. Yeah, like that. Ideally, you would have these things like right next to each other, like smushed in. Or this could just be accompanying the back door. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, I think that's everything we need for like a fully functioning house. We'll put a railing in there. So let's see what we can do. All right, let's go. We'll start here at the front door. Not too bad, it's cute. You know, we've got our little water thing happening there. Our little entryway, which has a table and a no shoes alert. Oh, the no shoes alerts. I knew I would do that. We need a shoe rack. Okay, it looks like the shoe racks can almost fit like nowhere except the very middle of the room unless you have move objects on. So I'm only putting one into the space right now. And it's just gonna be sitting over here on the one side. Oops, I thought I got rid of that. Apparently not. Okay. All right, so we've got a couple of items from the Snowy Escape there. You come in. Oh, we definitely need a railing, but we've got some shoji screens to cover up some of the snow equipment and the back door. We've got on the left-hand side, we've got our lovely dining room, which I'm just going to leave the ceiling as white. That's okay with me. We've got our board over there, some images, our table, our actually pretty nice kitchen. It's browns and yellows, but it's nice and warm. You can always have coffee or tea. And then you cross over into the two different living areas. We've got the fireplace, and we've got like a full seating area with some couches for conversation. And then we have a sort of work area over on the other side. And I'm going to get the railing on the stairs. We have a very limited selection on railings, and I don't really like how decorative this one is, so I think I'll be leaving it with the Snowy Escape one, but I might actually replace the stairs as well with like a deeper color. All right, so we've got a full deeper color there, which is good. All right then, on the second floor, when you come up the stairs, there's not a lot of decoration. I realized that I forgot to add that, but we've got a couple kid items in here and a whole bookcase. We've got our infant room, which is definitely very storybook nursery. We've got like the full bed layout, which is awesome. We've got second kid bedroom, which kind of feels like a kid bedroom. There's there's not a huge amount here. There would be a closet, baskets and stuff like that. But a lot of these clutter items we don't have the opportunity to get unless we were to branch out to have some more kits. We've got this bathroom, which I traded out a moss carpet for the other one that just kind of looked like a pelt. Like an animal pelt, and then some plain stuff there. And then the largest bedroom, which has a lovely blue. I actually think this looks kind of nice. I mean, the artwork maybe not fully incorporated in, but the blue and the lots of windows, I feel like would actually be a very cozy space. We've got this large bedroom's bathroom, which is plain, but I think it's also okay. And then just their closet area. So let's just run back real quick to look at some paintings and posters and maybe see what we can put up here. I think definitely like these in this area is a good idea. We'll just do two there. They don't really have different like photo frames. You know what? Maybe this can go into the kids' room. A couple of posters to try to give a little bit more personality. Can we fit this anywhere? We're sort of running out of horizontally looking space. Yeah, that's not gonna fit. And we've kind of already used this science print, but there are a couple of options. Maybe the black framed ones. I think we're gonna have to call it there. All right, so we do at least have some images that we have here. So that's gonna be it. That's it. A long build video for me, but it'll be quite a bit shorter for you. But I do kind of like this house. I like the way that it turned out with having such a limited selection of items. I really thought about caving towards the beginning for the exterior and just choosing something from the pack of the world that we're in. But we kind of, we worked through it. So now we do have this house that looks quite a bit different from the area around it, but also sort of, I feel like fits with the vibe we were going for, two separate buildings, colors, stuff like that. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for joining me. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to see more. And the next video will be either Let's Play or another build. So let me know if you have any suggestions down below. Bye!